Bucs offense against Chiefs, D. Ready to turn the corner?
Yeah, let's do it. I think we hit it all.
All right. Tom Brady's specific thoughts coming, and maybe you can take it right there. Gigi McDonald asked a very good question on Twitter. I think it's a good jumping off point.
Yep.
Can you talk about the difference in how the Bucs offense attacked the Chiefs defense in the Super Bowl compared to what they did back in Week 12?
Okay, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing is Week 12, they still weren't quite bought into what they are right now, as we've talked about a lot in the playoffs. Power run, play action pass, max protect Brady. They were still tinkering with that at that point. They were still stuck in the, hey, let's appeal to Tom and still get in the shotgun and throw short passes and do all that. Or Tom was still fighting for that aspect of the offense still. Either way, they were figuring out their formula. What was different about yesterday, and just right off the bat, and I told you this before we started today, was just the Tampa's patience with the run game and their physical dominance there got Kansas City to have to start playing defenses where they had to stop the run. And Kansas City's greatest at, first off, they're greatest with their disguises and when they get you in passing in those situations where Spags can get all these creative blitzes and coverages. And they were handicapped that way because of their ability to run. So he had to worry about that. And then also that kept him in so many second and shorts and third and shorts to where, again, that takes away Spags' greatness of his disguises and blitzes and everything he does that way. Other thing I'll say that just early in the game that really jumped out there. So the run game really set it up, no doubt. That really put Kansas City at a disadvantage. And again, Kansas City, as we've talked about a lot, Derrick Henry comes to town, they stop him. The Cleveland Browns two-headed monsters come to town, they stop him. The 49ers in the Super Bowl last year, they stopped him. They could not stop this Bucs offensive line. And they really only ran 2 or 3 run plays the whole game, just like I talked about in the NFC Championship game. They really just run like, hey, you, we're bigger than you and meaner than you, and here it comes. And there's nothing you can do. And that's the attitude that they really developed since that Week 12.
Yeah.
And then the play action passes off of it. And here's one other element that I thought was brilliant by Brady yesterday. Early in the game, I was going to text you this because I know we were texting early on, but I wanted to save it for the podcast, is the quick count.
Yeah.
The quick count was brilliant early on. And you might go, why? Why does that matter? Because Spagnuolo and Tyrann Mathieu, they're famous for all these, we're going to dance around and we're here and we're there and you got no idea. And he just said, hey, you, booty fight, said, and they were running the play.
Yeah.
And so now they're trying to disguise, and he's throwing a screen to Antonio Brown. Or, they're trying to disguise, and he throws a screen to the tight end. And now it's 15 yards. So they called some plays where it's like, they told Tom, hey, we're going to run the play no matter what. This is your all-purpose. We don't give a what defense they're in. Sorry for all the F words, but I'm excited here. We're going to run. We're going to do that. And then when we call those plays, do some quick count. So they can't always just think they're going to be able to disguise and do all this stuff and mess with us all game. That, to me, was one of the underlying good things that Brady brought to the game plan early on.
Love that observation. And I think one that kind of ties in with that as I'm sitting here listening to you, bringing in the big formations where there's multiple tight ends. There aren't people spread wide out.
Right.
And it's not that Brady couldn't handle it. He can get up to the line of scrimmage with 2 wideouts way out there, 2 way out there, and maybe figure out what Spags is doing. But you talk about taking away one of his strengths.
Yes.
In those kind of formations, the D coordinator loves it because you don't know, he's not going to know what I'm doing to that slot receiver and that outside receiver.
Exactly right. I could blitz that guy. I could have somebody drop out and cover him and whatever.
You can't decipher it.
No.
You've got everybody between the hashes.
Yeah.
You don't really care what the DBs are doing because you're either running it or running some kind of play action. I'm not going to spend 10 seconds figuring out what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because like you said, we're running this anyway.
We're running this anyways.
Quick snap count. Tight formations. I mean, it just so negates one of their strengths, which is his ability to confuse a quarterback.
It simplifies them.
Yeah.
It makes them go, well, you got to worry about this run. You better make sure you got all these guys in gaps
Makes
here.
you want to stand up at home as the offensive nerds that we are and be like, yes.
No doubt.
Golf clap.
Golf clap. Way to go.
Why don't more teams do that?
Old school football.
Yeah.
Just hit and hit and block and run hard. Like, I love it. And, like we said with Todd Bowles, I just want to I want to hug Todd Bowles and be like, man, that was awesome. You blitzed your whole life and you didn't blitz in the big game.
Yeah.
And then I want to do the same thing to Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich. Just be like, oh, no risk it, no biscuit, no risk it, no biscuit. But you guys said, fuck that attitude. We're going to run the ball in this game. And we're not going to take any risk. I mean, they changed who they were to win this game.
I agree. I mean, I think that they kind of tweaked it, Chris, in the bye week.
Definitely.
They came out winning at Atlanta. It was kind of bombs away.
Yeah.
But from that point on, I mean, they're running the ball almost as much as they're passing. I think I wrote it down here. Hang with me. So you've got the Fournette runs and the Jones runs, one less than Brady pass attempts.
Yeah.
Almost perfect balance. Once again, I think I said this 3 or 4 weeks ago. I went through and added it up and kind of surprisingly asked you, the leading receivers, tight end and running back.
I know.
Again, tight end, running back, backs running as much as Brady throwing. And it makes me think, isn't this the offense that's kind of crazy bombs away downfield? And that was the narrative. And they could have gone there if they wanted to. But it wasn't just this game. It was the last 7-8 weeks where it was not what we were led to believe it was going to be.
No, it was not. But they found what worked for them and this team and Tom Brady and what made sense for the strength of their football team. And they checked their egos at the door instead of, or don't worry about my strengths. And the strength of their football team was their O-line and their ability to dominate people that way. And that forced people to have to do things they didn't want to do on the defensive side of the ball. And you're right. I mean, yesterday, listen. It was the offensive story. I know Brady's the MVP. The offensive story is the run game. That was the biggest thing. That led to Brady throwing 3 touchdown passes all off of play action. Every really big throw you saw yesterday that was at least down the field was a play action pass. Really, I think almost every one. I'm not even joking.
Let's show the Gronk TD. Keep going.
Yeah, the Gronk TD.
The second one.
The Gronk pass. Post up the middle in the third quarter was a play action. I mean, but let's go. Let's say
after they've been running on first down, something they continually do.
Exactly right.
So this is Gronk touchdown number 2, Chris.
This is Gronk touchdown number 2. Okay, and so first off, and don't start it yet. This play here is not for Gronk. Not on this coverage.
No, it's
They're not
right.
looking for this. But again, this is going to show you once again that the offensive line for the Bucs whooped the shit out of the Chiefs D-line too, even in pass pro. What they're really trying to do here is number 84, Brate, who's playing fullback, they're trying to get a play-action fake and have 84 run at 54, or Sorensen, I think it ends up being 49, the safety, because he's thinking, hey, wait, he's running at me to block me, and then they were going to run him on a little out route off of it. It's a Shanahan play. This is Kyle Shanahan.
And he was looking left the entire way.
He was looking left because this was who they were thinking, we're running the ball good. We're going to fake this run. The guy who's supposed to cover the fullback, he's going to come up and try to avoid the fullback to make a tackle on the running back, and nobody's going to be covering the fullback out there, which is Cameron Brate in this one. So they do that, and go ahead and let it run, Pete. So he does that, and like you said, he play action fake. He's looking to the left the whole time. He's going, let me look at 84. Oh, wait. Let me look at Evans. Evans was really well covered, and now he looks back to the right side, and that concept was for a different coverage, but he had time, and Gronkowski's running a corner route.
Yes.
But he just adjusts when he looks back and sees Brady still holding the ball, and he's like, wait, I'm by the sidelines.
Didn't get the credit it should have in the broadcast.
Did not. They didn't really ever show what he did.
Yeah.
And this was the Brady-Gronk combination to where all these years together really helped. It was like seamlessly. It was like Brady was like, oh, well, he'll come out and be right there. And Gronk was kind of covered and then just looked back and was like, oh, wait, he didn't throw it yet. Let me turn this way.
Yeah.
And Brady just put it right on him, and it was just a great play by Brady and Gronk and overall the whole offense.
And another awesome example of the offensive line, how they gave Tom, where Kansas City's offense came nowhere near providing for Mahomes because he wanted to throw it, like he's in rhythm, drop back, throw it, nobody there.
Yeah.
You come to my right, extra hop, extra rhythm. So Gronk's response was great, but the offensive line allowing him to have that. Mahomes never had that all night.
No.
I'll also say, and it's kind of subtle, but there was a play in the second quarter, and it was a deep out route to the right. Where Godwin kind of got caught up, and he didn't come out of his break that early, and Brady was able to extra pat, extra bounce.
Doing the comeback on the right sideline on their first touchdown drive, right?
About a 15 or 16-yard gain.
Off a play action.
Where the offensive line allowed Godwin to kind of get untangled, allowed Tom to take another gather step.
No doubt.
That the other guy never had all night.
No doubt. No, it was the quarterbacks that played 2 different football games. You know, and again, it just goes back to, yes, the offensive line, the physicality of the Bucs. They were outmatched. But, yeah, I mean, hey, look, this is hilarious in itself, okay? That's Mahomes, right? This is just Mahomes, first off. And, I mean, Mahomes, like, let me see. So that's Brady just on the bottom, those squigglies. I don't think I even realized that. So Brady didn't move the whole night is what we're saying.
Right.
And Mahomes was the road runner, and Wile E. Coyote was chasing after him the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? Look at all this crap running around. I mean, it's insane. And the fact that he did it less than 100% and everything like that, I'm amazed by, too. Hey, I'll say I mean, Brady was awesome. The one thing I do want to just go back to before we go back to what we were talking about, Patrick Mahomes, his toughness is you have to admire it. Mm-hmm. I admire the Chiefs for not ever giving up in the game, even though they were getting their butts whooped. I really do respect that. But I really respect Mahomes' toughness and just going down with everything he had. And he wasn't going to play the politics of the sport. He wasn't going to go, oh, everybody's going to blame me, so now I'm going to check it down, and my stats will be pretty good after the game, and it won't be that bad. They won't blame me that bad. Because I'll go, I'll make it look like I'm 35 for 45 for 320 yards. No, he said, F that. I'm going down swinging. I'm either going to win, I don't give a or I throw interceptions and we lose and I look like a
Right.
And I respect that.
Yeah.
I do. He wasn't going to go down with trying to play the politics and save the aura of Patrick Mahomes. He was going to go down, oh, I'm about to hit the ground, I'll dive and throw a 40-yard laser and see what happens. And I respect that aspect.
Totally
because not all quarterbacks do that.
He was pressured a little over half the time. He was at 53%. Is that what you said? Career high? Okay, there we go. Quarterbacks under pressure. Oh, my gosh. Brady pressured 13% of the time. And 53%. Unbelievable.
And I mean, not even blitzing. That's the other thing.
Would you read? No, no.
Two or three of them are blitzes. But
would you read into him after the game saying, I'm just paraphrasing here, but he said offense wasn't on the same page.
Yeah, I know.
Which can be, someone can say, is he mad at the coaches? Did he think the coaches didn't prepare us well or call a good game? Is he like it? It's wide open to interpret, and it's not very often you hear a guy do that.
He threw everybody under the bus. He threw them all. I mean,
including himself.
Including himself. Exactly right. That's where I know people are going to try to make a thing of that, and I kind of got in a semi-argument with Mike this morning because I just went.
What was Mike's side?
Well, Mike was kind of going. That was kind of like Peyton Manning, back in the day when he was like, needless to say, we had some pass protection issues.
It's a version of that.
It's a version of that, but he started it with, I didn't play good. I missed throws.
Right.
I didn't see things right. And he went, then the receivers, we weren't on the same page either. Some of them ran some wrong routes. And then he said, then we had some blocking problems. See, this is where we got to stop this. We got to stop this.
What's this?
This. Now when the athlete gives us a real answer, we're going to dissect it and give 97 different meanings to what we think he meant. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to be mad when they become robots and go, can't they ever just give us an honest answer? Like, we got to stop this. Mm-hmm. It was a normal answer. He wasn't putting blame on anybody. He was putting blame on everybody, including himself. The quote said, I got to play better.
Right.
So back the off with that crap is what I want to say.
One response would be, and this, I mean, maybe it's not fun because it's unfortunate how well that offense played.
Yeah.
However, one way of looking at it is, okay, just because he took blame himself, does it give him the ticket to then, as you said, throw other people under the bus too?
Well, I mean, I do think it does. I mean, listen, they didn't play good.
It's better for us that he did because it's fun to talk about.
They didn't play good.
Right.
They scored 9 points.
Played horribly.
I know.
Yeah.
So
the unthinkable, didn't score a touchdown.
I mean, okay, he could have been perfect and just said, I didn't play good. Mm-hmm. But he's an honest guy. He almost always gives honest answers. And I don't think any of those receivers are going to come in today and be like, I can't believe he threw us under the bus. I played awesome. Oh, what's he talking about? And the right tackle is going to come in and be like, I was all over JPP. What's he talking about? He threw me under the bus. No, you sucked. And so did a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
So that's okay. And he took the blame in saying he sucked too. So.
And he did, which that doesn't get played as much as the other stuff does.
Right. And I just wish we would stop doing that a little bit in our profession
because we enjoy it when they're honest.
I know.
It's just so different when one of these quarterbacks, who's basically the CEO of the organization, doesn't come out and say all the right little political things because that's what they're trained to do.
I know.
So it just jumps out.
I know it is. Yeah. But I just think we're in a new era of like some of these young quarterbacks.
Hopefully there's more of it.
I think you're going to see more of that. It's because it's not personal. And I think with guys like Lamar and Mahomes and Allen, like the guys in the locker room know that And these guys love us, so they're not going to take it personal.
Right.
It's not like the old, like, sometimes how the quarterback used to be the CEO, and it was just like he didn't hang out with the guys and anything like that, and then said stuff like that. This is these guys have a good way with the guys in the locker room to where they can get away with these comments.
We've kind of touched on Brady a little bit. If someone didn't see the game, hasn't read anything, say, Chris, man, I was tied up with family, missed it. How did Brady play? How would you describe his game?
I mean, I would say great. I would. I mean, for what was there and what needed to be done and everything like that, and just the demeanor in which he gives off to his own football team. You know, again, it didn't like pop, oh my gosh, plays all over the field or anything like that. But the big thing is, when people were open, he hit them.
Yeah.
Other than maybe the first 2 third downs of the football game. After that, I mean, he was throwing strikes and he felt comfortable. And I never got into like a jittery aspect of the game where you felt like, you know, the one flaw we've seen with this game where you go, ooh, people are around him and he's starting to play. He just seemed comfortable and cool the whole game. And then just the ball was pure throughout. I mean, it was pure. He threw every ball, I think, just about where he wanted to throw it for the most part all night long.
He played well. His team put him in an awesome position.
Yes,
his coordinators, the defense. I mean, all he had to do was be a B.
And you give him, and we haven't hit on this yet, some of the opportunities the refs gave them.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, that is what it is. Again, I'm not making excuses. Like, Tampa Bay was the better team.
It's a question, though. It's a question I wanted to get to. So
let's go to it.
Sonny Ron asks, do you think the officials were asserting themselves too much in the game?
100%. I couldn't help. I don't like to tweet during games, but I had to start tweeting last night because there was some things going on where I just went, damn, I just got to put my thoughts out there. But that, to me, was a little over the top and egregious.
Which call bothered you the most?
Actually, all of them. I'll just say all of them.
All of them?
All of them. And let me just say this right off the bat. First of all, the interception is the number one worst one.
Okay.
That cost them 4 points at least. Maybe 7 altogether because they end up getting the touchdown. They end up having to kick the field goal where the guy lines up off sides, and then they score the touchdown. But either way, if they don't call that PI, none of that happens. So none of it. And here's my issue with it, all right? That stuff hasn't been called the whole playoffs. That's where I just can't. Listen, week 8 in the NFL, that's pass interference all year long. I know that. But everything we've watched the playoffs, that has not been a penalty all
Aaron Rodgers
playoffs.
might answer that differently.
Well, Aaron Rodgers would go, well, if they were going to call it that way, we would have been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They would have been in the Super Bowl. That's where he's probably sitting at home going, what the f***? Are you kidding me?
There were a number of pass interference calls.
Yeah.
Thinking of a couple late at Lambeau in the NFC Championship.
Well, yeah, they called the one.
Like
well, they called one for the Bucs.
Was there only one?
It was only that one.
Yeah.
We were complaining because we were going, wait, there was other ones that should have been called on the Bucs against Green Bay. They didn't call it the whole game. And now it's a big third down, and Brady throws it over the middle, and it was PI. Remember, Kevin King grabbed this thing. But our issue was nothing's been called the whole game. It's been WWE wrestling. And now, you know, that was called there. And that's the way I would feel about this aspect. You know, nothing's being called. They're letting them play. They've been letting them play the whole playoffs. So now teams are used to this. Wait, this is how we played. Nobody said anything to us. And you call that to me, yes, they became too much of the show at the end of the first half. And I do think it helped. Again, I don't think it would have mattered. The Bucs still would have won the game. They were the better team. But it cheated us, I think, out of a better football game.
You're right.
That's where I would disagree with it. I don't like any of them. I'm telling you, any of them.
What about the one Mike Evans has run about 30 seconds
The go
left.
route on the left
side.
Right.
Do you think that flag should have been thrown?
I don't. I mean, they tripped on each other. I can show you on film. I watched it on DVR a million times last night after it happened because I was like, wait, did he grab him or anything? There's nothing. Mike Evans is running. His left foot goes back and trips Bashaud Breeland. And he trips and falls on the back of his foot. That's incidental contact. Textbook. That doesn't get called. Okay? Let alone it was questionable whether it was catchable. Right? And then the one in the end zone.
That's the one that bothered me the most.
You thought that bothered you?
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't have been.
Should never. Yeah. Talk about uncatchable.
Uncatchable, and we have to understand this. This is being lost in the football world right now. just because the receiver wanted to go somewhere doesn't mean that the defense has to move out of the way to let him go.
Right.
The defense is there. It's their spot. You don't just go, oh, but he was supposed to run that way. No, the defense was there. He's got to run around him. And the contact is made by Evans. The interception, the contact is initiated by Evans. Evans has the guy in his hip pocket on the interception and does this.
Yeah.
And then the guy holds him. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Right.
So we're just going to let people do that now? So that, to me, again, I'm not saying it mattered in the game. It mattered, though, I think, in the competitive nature of the game. And I just have an issue with, again, the difference in the way regular season and playoff football is officiated. And then, especially in this case, playoff football has been officiated one way the whole time. And now there's 4 minutes left in the first half, and the stars of the game are going to become the referees. And that was just annoying to me.
I think that one actually did matter a lot, that one in the end zone, because think about how much different, inside of 10 seconds, no timeouts left, it feels to be on the 1 yard line as opposed to somewhere, I forget where they were, somewhere between the 5 and the 10.
Right.
Feels a whole lot different from there. And all they did was collide. I mean, they came together. Is this now, and he threw it 10 yards over his head. Is this a penalty every time now?
It hit the wall.
It hit the bottom part of the wall.
It shouldn't be, but it has become a thing in the NFL. And that's where I just, again, I don't.
I kind of cringed at the touchdown.
DBs are allowed to have the right to an area.
Yes.
If they're standing there, even though your route was supposed to run there, you're not allowed to just run him over.
They can be there as well. It was 2nd and goal from the 9.
2nd and goal from the 9.
Yeah, so bad.
So you're going to have 3rd and goal from the 9 on the next play.
With no timeouts.
Oh, would have been 2nd goal.
Yeah.
That was 1st and goal, would have been 2nd goal. So, yeah, then maybe you're going to have one more shot.
Yeah.
And they're going to take a shot in the end zone and then maybe kick a field goal. But, yes, 17 to 6 is different than 21 to 6.
That touchdown felt dirty. Like, afterward, I was kind of like, yeah.
Listen, I didn't like either one of them. I thought they both felt dirty. And, I don't want to take credit from the Bucs and what they did.
They played awesome.
They were the better team. They deserved to win.
Yeah.
We just don't like that aspect of what the NFL does with that. And to me, yes, that was too much. I still think the Bucs would have won the football game. I do. But I think we would have been entertained a lot more if some of that wasn't, taken into account there.
We talked about him a little bit here as a part of, it was more of a part of a bigger picture of how Byron left, which Bruce Arians really went to the run more. But Leonard Fournette, 16 carries, 89 rush yards. The entire playoff season, he was up into double-digit carries, usually over 20 touches total.
Yep.
Massive part of what they did.
Beast. I mean, just like a perfect complement to that big offensive line. So now, you got a big offensive line, a powerful running back, and then Brady who can throw lasers off of play action. I mean, damn, that's good. That's good living right there. But I'm just always amazed at, we've talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago with the NFC Championship. They run like one play. They really just run. Everybody goes straight. And we're going to mash you back. And this guy's big and strong, and he's going to mash it in there. And if you collapse too much in there, he'll bounce it outside. And then we got into the touchdown run, right, where he had the 27-yard touchdown run.
Take a look at it here.
Like the only play all game, one of the few plays all game, they didn't do that play. They actually changed up what they did. And don't start this yet, Pete. But first off, I think the beauty of this is the size of the people in this football game. We have one receiver in. We have an extra tackle, number 73 in at the tight end position. So this is what we would call 13 heavy in the NFL. One back, 3 tight ends, with the heavy designation being, hey, one of you tight ends is not really a tight end. You're a heavy, tight end, as in a tackle. And so that's what they got there. You see here, it's 73, 87, 84 on the edge. Man, do they got a lot of power on the right side. Then they're going to pull Ali Marpet on the backside, number 74, and go ahead and let this play to where they block down. And now Charvarius Ward's the only guy left on the edge. Ali Marpet can block him with his right pinky, and Leonard Fournette does not get touched going into the end zone. Again, another just example of physicality, physical dominance, and just a nice little wrinkle to go, wait, we run this play a lot. We think one of these times you're going to overcompensate and mash it in there too much. So we'll help you get in there, and then we'll have somebody just on the edge to just get your one guy on the edge, and boom, we won't get touched for a touchdown. And just a nice game plan design for them.
Earlier in that drive, they faced 3rd down and 4.
Right.
I'm going to back up even more.
Right.
Kansas City's first possession of the second half, they had a 3rd and 7.
Yeah.
Mahomes got chased around, threw it away, incomplete. They punted away.
Right.
Couple moments later, they have 3rd down and 4.
Yep.
Difference between 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 7. Brady drops back, checks it down to Leonard Fournette.
Oh.
First down.
Yeah.
Because maybe he does that on 3rd and 7, but on 3rd and 4, hey, if they're dropping back a zone, I'm just going to give it to my fullback or running back, let him fall forward, keep the drive going. So it's a small thing, but he had 3rd and 4s.
A lot.
And protection.
Yeah.
Mahomes had a lot of 3rd and 7-ish kind of plays.
3rd and 20s, 3rd and 15s.
Third and more than 10.
Everywhere. Holy, he had a 3rd and 30-something at one point last night. I mean, yeah, Paul, it's a great point. And it goes beyond 3rd down, too, because it was so many 2nd and 5s where you just go, damn, there wasn't really anything there, but he ran it up the middle for 5 yards. It was just a mosh pit, and they got 5. They got 4. So they were always in good positions to manage, again, the Spags, blitzes, disguises, to where he had to always worry about, man, I'd like the blitz or disguise here, but I got to worry about this run game. I can't do anything crazy.
Yeah.
And that was a big aspect of the football game. But to your point, I mean, if we had the theme of the game would be quick passes, or it would be run the ball, quick passes, play action. That's all they did.
I know.
That's all he threw some receiver screens, a tight end screen, a running back screen, a dump off to the back, and then really the 4 or 5 play action passes we've talked about already, and that was the football game.
Yeah. Most of the pass catchers average less than 10 yards per catch for the Bucs, which was kind of rare for them.
Right.
Goes to show you how well they ran it on 1st down, because if you have 2nd and 6 and you hit Gronk for 4, you're fine.
Right.
So I thought those numbers said a lot about the mindset, not only for Brady when he dropped back, but also the play calling.
Yes.
What happened to Frank Clark and Chris Jones?
Yeah, well, Chris Jones plays better than you think. I will say this. I mean, tip the pass. He was involved in a lot of the tackles, stopping the run here and there. It was better than I thought on TV. But it just goes back to this O-line again. Again, first off, when anybody who listened to my podcast, listened to the podcast last week when we broke the game down, I mentioned the front four didn't get close to Brady the first time. Anytime they got close to Brady, it was more because of the blitzes and disguises, and they found ways to trick the scheme to get one guy free. But, I mean, those 2 tackles and those guards and the damn center, I mean, they're a tough matchup for Kansas City. It's one of the few offensive lines in football that can kind of handle them a little bit.
Pete just gave me some unbelievable info in my ear. He said that the Chiefs defense, they had 1 player with multiple quarterback hurries. Alex Okafor, 1. You know how many the Bucs had?
8.
10. That's unbelievable.
It just tells you the game right there.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, if you want to, that's a synopsis right there. It just says it all. Yeah. I mean, Brady was, like you talked about, just got to pat balls, be clean, through lasers, and really, yes, Kansas City was not even afforded the luxury of being able to do a 3-step drop some plays because the dam broke so quickly. So, that's what stinks. That's what stinks. It would, maybe we can get the gift of next year getting this game again with 2 healthy Kansas City tackles and a healthy Mahomes and really be, just delighted to watch an awesome, awesome football game. That's what I always want in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
No matter
all
what.
you want is a close game.
I do. I just want a fun, good game. And between the refs yesterday and the injuries of the Chiefs, again, Bucs would have won the game, but I think that took away from the closeness of the game a little bit. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.